For EP, climbing walls and handholds is our business, but that's really not why we're here. We're here to enrich people's lives and introduce climbing to the world. We know that once somebody gets an opportunity to go indoors and climb on a climbing wall, that they're going to be hooked and they're going to be a climber for life.
Hello and welcome to Chamonix in the Rhône-Alpes region of France. We're here for the IFSC second lead and fourth Speed World Cup of 2014. Chamonix is perhaps best known for its history of alpinism. It was the site of the very first Winter Olympics in 1924 and sits in the shadow of Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in the European Union. It is known as the gateway to the European Cascades, and here for us it marks the gateway to an exciting run of European World Cups with the IFSC. It is now time for our Lead World Cup final. The crowds gather to see our 8 male and 8 female athletes who managed to fight their way through a seriously tough semi-final earlier today. Chamonix always offers packed crowds and an electric atmosphere, so it is with high anticipation we now turn our attention to the second lead final of 2014.
Et voilà, mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à Chamonix. Welcome everybody for the lead final World Cup, second World Cup on the season. I would like a big applause, please. Are you here? J'espère que vous êtes prêts. L'IFFC, la Fédération Française Montagne et Escalade, vous souhaite la bienvenue à cette première finale de la soirée, finale masculine, comptant pour la deuxième étape de la Coupe du Monde. Première étape sur le territoire français avant de se diriger la semaine prochaine vers Briançon. Il va être temps de vous présenter les 8 finalistes ce soir. 8 climbers from the best climber in the world are in final tonight in Chamonix. I would like a really big applause for the first climber in final. Is just the number 1 of the last season, and 2 years ago is representing Japan. One of the best climbers in the world, Mr. Sashi Hama. Deuxième grimpeur en finale ce soir, il est jeune, il arrive de l'équipe de Slovénie. Il a 3 finales à son actif, c'est la 3e finale de sa carrière ce soir. Applaudissements, representing Slovenia, Urban Primosic. 2 podiums dans sa carrière, un podium à Chamonix il y a 3 ans, podium à Crange en 2013. Il était 10e de la première étape de la Coupe du Monde. The third climber tonight in final is representing Norway. Big applause for Magnus Midtboe. 6e de la dernière Coupe du Monde en Chine, c'est le leader de l'équipe slovène. Il adore grimper sur le territoire français. Representing Slovenia, big applause for Domen Skofik, Slovenia. Alors attention messieurs, dames, j'espère que vous êtes chaud bouillant. Chamonix, parce qu'on va accueillir celui qui fait sa 4e finale. Il était en finale à Imst, à Crange, à Cham, et encore cette année on le retrouve. Membre de l'équipe de France, applaudissements pour l'incroyable Thomas Ballet. Two times world champion. Ça fait plus de 15 ans qu'il est sur les Coupes du Monde. Vous le connaissez très bien à Chamonix. Il a déjà enflammé l'anneau de vitesse, la place du Mont Blanc. C'est le plus petit des grimpeurs, mais aussi celui qui a le style le plus acrobatique. Il frappe pour l'équipe espagnole. Representing Spain, I would like a big applause for the 2 times world champion, Ramon Julián Prigblanque. Plusieurs podiums dans sa carrière et surtout, on va garder en tête cette magnifique soirée qui nous a tous réunis l'année dernière ici lors des championnats d'Europe. Il était à la maison, chez lui, et il a été élu le champion d'Europe de la difficulté. Veuillez accueillir sur scène le Chamonniard, Romain Desgranges. And be careful to the last one. It's the best record in climbing. Just 7 victories the same season on 8 World Cup. Le seul grimpeur à avoir remporté 7 Coupes du Monde sur 8 sur la saison. un mutant, plusieurs podiums dans sa carrière. He's climbing for Austria, Mr. Jakob Schubert. Mesdames et messieurs, une ovation pour nos grimpeurs, s'il vous plaît, les finalistes de la Coupe du Monde de Chamonix de difficulté de ce soir. Et maintenant, on va les laisser pour l'observation de leur voix. C'est parti pour 6 minutes d'observation. Alors, on sait que la météo, elle n'est pas facile, hein. On espère évidemment qu'on ait quelques petites interruptions et que le temps se dégage un petit peu. C'est ce qu'on peut souhaiter de mieux. Vous l'avez compris tout au long de cette Coupe du Monde qui a été très dure pour eux. On a commencé il y a 2 jours avec
Well, a very warm welcome to you if you are joining us, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Welcome to the second lead final on the IFSC season 2014. My name is Daniel Finn. I'll be with you all the way through this evening's coverage. And joining me at the moment, whilst these male athletes are observing the route before them, we have the man that put that route together here with his team, and that is Adam Pustelnik, our chief route setter here. Adam, how are you this evening?
I'm good. The weather is not so good, but I'm good, thank you. After a good semi-final, welcome everyone. Hope you'll enjoy it.
Okay, so start us off with, let's talk through the men's first then. So looking at this, what we're observing these guys observing at the moment, what are they looking at?
They're looking at a route which is a little bit easier than the semi-finals. We took the chance to get these guys climbing really high up. The first part of the route is rather easy up to the big yellow sloper. It's just a little bit of a technical climbing. Then you get through a section of a little bit slopey, pinchy things, and the real game starts where the orange part of the wall is. This is a place through all the big overhanging part with it's a little bit more complex, a little bit harder to read. I'm really curious how these guys will manage to get these sequences out, because it's not super physically hard, but it's just complex to read. As you exit the route begins to be a little bit more easier in terms of reading it, a little bit more basic in the style of climbing, and from the exit of the roof until the top, this is where we'd like really to see the battle, the fight, especially the last part, which is starting from the last gray volume. You see like the end of the kite, which you tried to design. That's the part where halls begin to be crimpy but positive. And if you're pumped, we'd like the climbers to really fight throughout that part until the last jumpy move to the top.
Okay, let's have a look at this up on your screen now then, guys. You can see the very top of the wall. And here you can see the line of the route that these guys have to follow from this point on. Now, you were mentioning a moment ago, Adam, that it really kicks in where the orange part of the wall begins here. So they're starting off moving slightly to the right and then sort of snaking their way up. It becomes a little bit more vertical towards the top. Looking at this point, saying that this is really where the route kicks in, where's the crux here? Where are we looking at expecting to see these guys really struggling?
Like we saw in the qualifiers and in the semis, it's always hard to get through the loop of the roof. So this part is something that could be a little bit more blocky, but we really did our best right now during the changes to make it as fluent as possible. So in fact, not to get any tight scores around that place, but to have a more resistant part starting from the hold, let's say around 32, 34, going up and splitting the best guys around, in fact, 45, 46, 47, so really the top. This is what where we want the split on the very top. We don't want it lower anywhere. Of course, as I've said before, the exit of the roof is never an easy thing. It depends very much as well how they read the bottom, like the place where it kicks.
Okay, so to overall surmise what we've just discussed, then we're starting off all the way down the bottom, and it doesn't really start to get into something tough until they hit this first large sloper towards the bottom.
Yeah. This is easy. Like it's something you cannot do anything very special. We don't want long competition, and we don't want competition where climbers would be falling very low. We want climbers to be climbing at this part of the competition really high. This is something we took care of, saying we've talked during the semi-finals, the routes are hard. The semi-finals, the qualifiers, they were. The finals, we want them to fly very high up. So the beginning, easy. Then this part from around number 10 to around 24, a little begins to be resistant, not really good places to rest. And then in the roof, there is a place where they might stop for a moment, hooking well, if they read it well, to stop and to rest for a second. And then 36 is the last place where they should be able to stop really for a longer while and then just go to the top, go
So
fast.
from
It's
36
only
upwards, we're looking at
from
endurance.
Yeah, from 36 up, that's 2 quick draws to clip. In between this section, there should not be anything to really rest well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Adam. I'm going to let you get back to it. I know you've got to go and sit in front of the wall and get a little bit stressed.
Thank you.
You're going to come back and join us for the women's a little bit later on, do the same thing
Yeah,
for us?
hope so. Enjoy. All the best.
Perfect. Thanks, Adam. Well, fantastic to catch up with our chief route setter here on what we are expecting to see as we move through the men's final. So we are starting off with the men here tonight. We're going to be wrapping things up here, then showing you a couple of interviews, a little bit of things that we've been grabbing down on the ground, and then we'll be moving into the women's later on as well. So do stick with us. We'll be with you all the way through this evening. And what now I need to do, the next thing I need to do on my list here is to introduce my co-commentator for the men's final this evening, and that is Mr. Sean McCall. Sean, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Dan?
Very, very good. You look wet. You've been outside.
I was outside. I was watching the video. I was watching them observe. It's always gives a little bit of shivers, but no, it looks really exciting. So,
Talk to me a little bit about the weather and the conditions we've been dealing with here over the past couple of days. Has it affected your personal or everyone's climbing in general? I mean, I know it was very, very cold on the first day, so...
yeah, it definitely affected us. I mean, the first day our qualifier started at 10:30, and I was like 25th out, so I was actually pretty late. And some of the first climbers, they really didn't expect their fingers to go frozen. And 10 moves in, they're already putting their hands on the back of their neck. They're freezing out there, and so really it was just a struggle to keep your hands warm. You'd get really frozen, and it would make you feel like you were pumped. And so the whole first day was just really hard. And then for the women, they knew it was coming, so they got really ready for it. But then it was a little bit warmer that day, so they got a little bit lucky for that. They didn't get as frozen fingertips, but tonight it's kind of cooled down again, back to that 2 days ago in the morning, and it's going to be a battle
as well. So
yeah.
it's getting to a stage where we're going to start to feel the cold setting in a little bit more. Talk to me also about Hayang just recently and how that was with you. I mean, that's not that long ago now. So have you recovered, would you say, from doing every single discipline the world has to offer and taking 2 silver medals? How was that?
It was hard, and for that one, especially lead climbing, it was a battle. And I'm the first one to say that I got really lucky in lead. I watched the replays after, and yeah, I climbed very well for my abilities. But everyone else made mistakes, and I saw a lot of people making mistakes in the roofs on really big holds. They got nervous with their feet, and both the French competitors fell off very unexpectedly, I'd say. And so I was really lucky with that, and yeah, I mean, but I have recovered. I've been back in France for another couple of weeks. Obviously in Laval, I missed that finals by 1 position. I'm here, I missed this finals by 1 position, but there's got to be that guy, and I'm that guy this weekend, and here we go, finals.
Definitely a good warm-up for the World Champs, though, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I mean, that's I haven't even started thinking about that with the other competitors, but eventually we will start thinking about that.
Yeah, nobody seems to be thinking about that.
No, not yet. It's not really good to get nervous about it. I mean, usually the month leading up, you start getting ramped up. But now we're mostly concentrated on the next World Cup.
So, to start us off, before we are about to, as you can see there, welcome out Sachi Amara to start on this wall, let's just have a brief chat with you, Sean, about your first impressions of this route. I know you've been outside and you've had a little look at it, and now you've got a route map in front of you. What are you thinking of this one? How's it seeming to you?
Well, first of all, I'm going to see if I read it right or if I read it wrong. Now that I have all the numbers in front of me, it's really easy. And whenever you're climbing them, you never really know. So I already see 47 moves, so it's actually longer than a lot of the other ones. Some of the other ones were closer to, 40 moves. But, I mean, the start looks hard right off the bat. And some of the holds right in the middle, I guess around the 10th hold, they're not good. They're going to be just powerful moves. Then maybe they can get a little rest, kind of around, 25 to 30, somewhere in there. Then there's going to be power through the roof, and it's just going to be pure endurance to the top. And I think it's really going to start ramping up right around the end of the roof, around this 33, 34. And some of the route setter also came over and asked me how I read that sequence, because they were afraid of competitors trying to go from 30 and 29 all the way to this 35. And we'll talk about it when they're on the route, but it's when they have to go really far towards the left. They were worried that they might try to go straight up, but I said, no, as a competitor, we read it, we go left.
Well, you weren't even in here a moment ago when Adam was here, and you basically said exactly what happened.
Okay, well,
so
you're
reading well. So let's hope that everybody else is going to read well too as we move through tonight. Sebastian Halenki made it through into the semi-finals in 15th place, but unfortunately just missing out on a point in a place in the finals here. So we have our 8 male athletes that we are due to see coming and joining us in a few moments' time. There's our Slovenian coach, Roman, with Maya down on the ground. As you see, this is the athletes' pit down at the front, all these guys gathered, and our sea of umbrellas that we're used to seeing here in Chamonix. I don't think it has actually stopped raining since we arrived here 3 days ago, so it's been quite cold, quite wet, and a little bit windy, but we're hoping that's not going to cause too many problems as we move through the rest of the day. Just a shout out to a few people that are joining us, and hello to Commander. Also a hello to Magdalena, who's back with us, to Peter Dawson, who's with us, and Ozzy, saying hello from Warsaw. If you do want to get in touch with us, Moika's back as well. If you do want to get in touch with us, you can do so using that hashtag in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen at the moment. That's hashtag IFSCWC. So looking at our competitors that we have for this evening then, Sean, these guys that are going to deal well with this route, what are you thinking here? We've got Sachiyama kicking things off for us. Then we have Urban coming out, Primozic, Magnus Mippo, Dominik Skofic, Thomas Ballet, Ramon Julien Piblanc, Ramon de Grange, and Jakob Schubert. This style of route, who's it going to suit?
Ooh, it's a good one. Didn't really look at the route exactly like that, but for me, I guessed. I mean, it's always nice to see a home crowd favorite on the podium. And then I also thought it's going to be Jakob Schubert, Ramon Julien Piblanque, and Sachiyama. So I'd say of those 4 that I just named, 3 of them are going on the podium. And it's funny because Sachi is in 8th place.
When you say home crowd, which French athlete are you talking about?
I was talking about Romain Desgranges, the European champion.
Yeah, so he's had the buzz from last year of taking home the gold here.
Yeah, he knows that he can do it in this wall. Last year, at the exact same time of year, he won the competition. I'm sure he's going to try to ride that high. He knows he can climb well. He did really well in semifinals. And unfortunately, sometimes he does climb better in semifinals than in finals. I'm hoping it won't be the case today, and he'll be on the podium.
So we're hoping one of those 4 athletes, or most of those 4 athletes, are going to be making it onto the podium. But looking at the style of the route when it gets into that endurance section as well, do you think that Ramon could have a bit of an edge on some of the other athletes once he's up into the main section of over the prow at the top of the wall?
What I really try to look for in the route is if there's any really big decisive moves, because that's always the moves that Ramon kind of gets bogged down in. He's not sure if he's going to be able to make the span. He starts looking for things that are a little bit different, and then he gets really bogged down. So I try to look for moves. I couldn't find any. Maybe the sequence where they have to go really far towards the left and then come back towards the right, just as they're breaking that roof.
You mean
maybe
towards the midsection here, but it's kind of difficult to read.
We'll keep an eye on that. But I think he's going to be okay, and obviously in endurance, he's just a machine, so pretty excited.
Hello to Brian Teed, who's joining us from Boston as well. So, Sachi has been announced. He just doesn't fancy coming out by the look of things here. And as a couple of you are already noticing, it's a pretty mean cloud there that's hanging over the top of Chamonix. We're hoping that it stays hanging over the top and doesn't decide to offload on us. Hi to Cam as well, that's with us, saying finals, semis were great, so hopefully the finals is equally as exciting. We're about to find out as we start here with Sachiyama. Sachi had an incredible season last year, ended up at the top of the World Cup rankings. We didn't see him in Haiyang at the start of this year, so this is really his first test event of the 2014 season. This is going to see what kind of shape Sachi's in for the rest of the year. 24 years old from Tochigi, currently world ranked 2nd, just falling behind Jakob Schubert at the moment, despite coming out on top of the World Cup rankings in 2013. Results from last year then, a 3rd place at Kran at the end of the year, 1st places at both Wuyang and Mokpo last year, and also at Imst. 2nd place at Purs, 2nd place at Briançon, which is next up on our calendar as well. Plenty of podium positions last year for Sachi. And how do you think he's looking at the moment then, Sean, considering he wasn't with us in Haiyang and now he's just starting to really kick off his season?
It was interesting not seeing him in Haiyang, but I saw him on both his qualifications in the semifinals, and he looked great. I mean, he looked like the Sachi we all know him for, strong, precise, and it looks like he's going pretty slow at the beginning here, so it's got to be hard. It has to be hard, and I'd be nervous.
Well, Sachi was highest to qualify from the very first qualifying rounds. And low.
See how slow we had to go through those moves. And
so here onto the first diamond volume, the grave diamond volume. Bit of a compression move there, or?
wow. That, watch out for that move on the other competitors.
Big move up,
I would
is
say
that a pinch?
one out of 8 people fall there. Oh, you can see it. You can see when his head goes back every time that this route, it just gets harder and harder. Already the qualifiers, or what did they say? It was 8B plus or something. And
what was interesting?
They felt impossible.
What was interesting is that Adams just said that he thought this would be easier than the semi-finals. This is an easier route than semi-finals, and he said that the point that it really kicks off is as soon as we hit the orange and not before. So to see Sachi being so tentative, maybe is the word, or on edge.
I don't know. I mean, that's the left hand is the first hold that I've seen him actually like relax on a bit. And
quite a few wide pinches here on this section.
yeah, whenever they add little chips like that onto the hold, it's because the hold just in itself isn't good enough.
Yeah.
So they had to add extra ones to keep them on.
Big moves to start us off as well.
Yeah. And it looks like the clip is going to be hard.
So how's he looking here then, Sean? Comfortable or a little bit on edge?
I'd say uncomfortable, but climbing well. So I think this whole route's just going to be uncomfortable for someone. I can get an E-bar.
Yeah, you were mentioning there could be a rest here. That was risky. Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
And he looks a little bit disappointed. I think he could have gone further along that route, and I think the whole route, the whole beginning is just hard. I mean, maybe they're a little bit tired from the semifinals this morning. I mean, it's really cold out there, but I thought he climbed well, but fell a little bit unexpectedly.
He looked like he was really fighting from the very off, so it's going to be interesting to see what the other athletes get up to when they first get out here.
I tried to say
So Sachi, unfortunately, not a great result there for him. It was up around the 27th and 28th hold here. Just moving into the orange section of the roof, approaching that point. Reading the beta of where his feet needed to be positioned as he was climbing. That was something I know he did a lot of work on in the interim between the end of last year and the beginning of this year. Talk to us a little bit about how important footwork is when you're on a walk, Sean.
I mean, it's definitely important, especially where your feet are going to be. Often there'll be footholds that you don't think you're going to use, but then you should say, like, what do the route setters think? He's climbing really well here. He looks much more solid than Magnus did, and I hope he grabs the undercling, puts his foot out, and goes with his right hand. And right away, it's looking like he's going with his right, and that's the way to do it. And
so definitely reading beta well so far at the moment. Then he's just secured 17th and 18th hold, and that's the 19th now, out with the right hand. Starts to move up towards the top of this diamond here.
And I'm hoping the cheers from the crowd after beating 2 people, getting a little bit of confidence, I hope it's going to help him. He's going to know he's probably passed 1, maybe 2 people. And
yeah, just based on the time that people have been coming back after going out. So this is good at the moment. He's now up to the 23rd hold here. He's about to make a push for 24, which is the one directly above him then. Unfortunately, not quite enough. That's going to give him a 23 plus and put him in second place at the moment. Domen, disappointed in his climb. We've seen that from every athlete to come out so far. And from your angle, this is definitely the route, and not just necessarily that they're very tired after a tough semis earlier
I think the route is just hard. Every move on this route is hard. The clips are hard. I mean, you have to let go for whatever, 2 to 10 seconds sometimes. I think every move on this route is hard. It also gives you a little bit of a false sense of security watching Sachi go first. Obviously, he's world rank number 2 now because he didn't go to the first one.
Yeah.
But he was world rank number 1 at the end of last season, so gives you a misconception of how hard the route is by watching him go first.
So Sachi still now on the leader chair, talking to Jan Zabranik. The crowd is still riled here. Hopefully you guys are still looking forward to some excitement towards the end of this one now. We're starting to get into some big names very shortly as well. I know we've seen some already, but here we go now. Then we're finished with Domin Skovic. We're on to Thomas Ballet now of France. Now you live here in France, Sean, yes? So you're based over here. So do you climb with the French team very often?
Funny question. I'm not really allowed to train with them. Just throw that out there.
But
so,
you're allowed to go out. You're allowed to go out on rock or anything. With,
yeah,
with,
sorry,
with
I'm
friends,
allowed to go
sure.
on the rocks, but sometimes they're a little bit picky about who trains on their special walls. But I do get to train with them as much as I can. Thomas lives in Lyon, and they were nice enough to let me climb for free at the Mule de Lyon, which is nice. So I trained there. It was really nice. New routes, good height. I saw Toto there as well, nicknamed Toto for those who don't know. And a powerful climber, first final of the year. He didn't do all the ones last year, I don't think. I don't think he came to Asia. But he's a great climber, and yeah, first final of the year.
Stylistically, what would you say he's more comfortable in?
I would say he's actually a pretty good all-rounder climber. It's hard to say where he's going to get bogged down, where he's not going to get bogged down. He can do powerful problems, he can do slabs. Sometimes it might be a little bit of a mental battle. He doesn't have as many finals under his belt as the other French competitors, but he's a great climber, and he's getting through this well. He just has to hit the next hold. And being at home, I think, and I hope it'll help him get up this route.
Has it helped you in the past, or do you think that there's a certain degree of pressure to be dealt with
both.
as well?
It puts more pressure on all competitors actually to compete at home, but I like that, and so it eventually helps me. But yeah, I am more nervous. So here.
Big move, but manages to latch it at the moment. Trying to get a heel in here with the left as he matches on that one now as well.
Good cup, good crimp.
Doesn't look too comfortable. You can see shaking in the legs there.
And he knows between the time, like you said, of the competitors coming back to ISO, that it's hard at the bottom. He knows that he has to fight. Every move counts.
Managing to take the 19th hold here as well. You could just tell then as he was starting to rev up that he wasn't going to make that next hold. Now, why do you think that was? Is there anything to do with the positioning going there?
It's so hard to tell. I mean, I'm not competing in the final. It's so hard to tell, but it's a combination of a lot of things. You see competitors, they're out for a minute, they fall, the crowd's kind of like, oh, and then you're like, well, did they do well? They got 3-4 draws up. You go out there, none of the draws are moving. You're like, So he knew that he had to get, probably only halfway, but he looked a little bit disappointed even though he came off the wall, and he still beat, I think, 3 competitors.
Yeah, he was on, I believe.
Yeah, because I think he beat Urban and Magnus, but he's behind Domin and Sachi, so he's 3 of 5, which is good. He's going to be at worst 6th, but it just shows again how hard the route is.
It's a 19 plus because he didn't actually match on that previous hold. So that hold is 19 and 20, but instead of matching, he pushed up ahead of it. It's going to give him a 19 plus, put him in 3rd place at the moment. Still, Sachi Amma with 28 plus at a high point, and we now get into 3 of the 4 names that you suggested could really take down this route. So we start with Ramon Julien Peblanc, Ramonet, little Ramon that's out here now, followed by Ramon de Grange, followed by Jakob Schubert.
And after seeing everyone on the route, I think, and I'm just going to put it out there, I think he's going to do good on the route.
Ramonet?
Yeah, putting it on the line. I think you were going to see a new high point with this, so we'll see, but he has one of those climbing styles that will favor this, and as long as he doesn't get bogged down by the height, I think he won't be too nervous about the difficulty of the route.
The only thing I was thinking is that some of the more reachy moves at the start could be possibly difficult for him, or he could be a little bit hesitant about it, but when it comes to endurance, this is his forte, and something like this, particularly towards the top section of the route, which is exactly what Adam was saying, where it does just become pure endurance. We're hoping that Ramon is going to be able to put on a decent show for us here now as well.
Mesdames et messieurs, j'adore, c'est sa 103e Coupe du Monde à Ramon. son troisième Coupe du Monde. Est-ce que vous pouvez l'applaudir, s'il vous plaît?
So we just heard from the French commentator that supposedly this is Ramon's 103rd World Cup. And with a maximum of 8 in a season.
Quite experienced, definitely in the bag there,
Yeah.
definitely. And let's hope it pays off. He's now on the 11th hold after matching that one.
And he matched it, which is a little bit interesting. A lot of the other competitors just went to the right side of it with their left hand. So these next 2 moves are going to be the hardest part for him. He's obviously going to get his right foot up and do it like this, but we'll see in a... Yep, just like this.
Alors, est-ce que l'expérience va jouer en sa faveur à Ramon déjà? Le voir hésiter comme
So hesitant here before moving up again. Probably very aware that this next section after this is going to be where it really gets tough. These athletes, constant stream of them keep coming back behind into isolation, so he's going to be very aware of the fact that people have had short runs, as we've mentioned earlier.
He's going to have to go for it now. We've seen it many times where he goes back and forth,
I think it is one downfall. That's his biggest downfall. It's the hesitance.
Yeah, but
unless he feels like
he's done it now, and I think those are the 2 moves that were going to be the hardest for him, and I think he should be okay for now. But you can tell he's squeezing hard, and these moves are hard for him. And he's going slowly.
Just not moving until he's absolutely certain that he's got a good hold.
This is a big move for him.
And that's what I was talking about a few moments ago, those big athletic moves that for him could be a risky factor early on in the route, and it's proved that that has been the case here for Ramone. More importantly, it was Sean's fault, Sean jinxed him. Moving on to our next athlete.
I'm sorry, fans.
I got a fact coming in here from Michael Albrecht saying, here's a bit of fun. Andra went to the rock today and unsighted a 9A. Pity you can't give this one a go. Well, that was due to a clipping incident.
Well, if you take that logic and extrapolate it to some people's thoughts, he came 27th in the comp, which means there's 26 other people in this world that can onsite 9A, right?
Absolutely. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, of course. No, that's amazing that he did another 9A onsite. I bet you he did it just out of pure hatred for skipping a clip. Or
try and take some of the limelight. It's definitely worked. Now, okay, this is where the pressure is on, and also the crowd starts to get very, very riled as Ramon Desgrange takes to the stage. He was a victor from last year, won the European Championships here. So he has a lot of pressure on his head at the moment, but aside from that, he's also got the home crowd behind him and the memories, the nostalgia of being on top of a podium here in Chamonix. Hopefully that's going to give him some confidence here on the route. Thoughts, Sean?
I'm a little bit more worried about Romain than I even was about the last competitor, mostly because I know that Romain likes to climb very much in control. He obviously has incredible power and really incredible resistance. I mean, this is his home wall or hometown, and so he can always do well. And it's only going to be if he gets to a point on the route where he feels like things aren't in control or something. But up until there, he looks great. He's going to get the clip, and in the next 5-6 moves, we're going to be able to tell whether he's going to go further than the session.
Well, one of the things that I have noticed about Ramon over the past couple of years, but particularly at the start of this year as well in Haiyang, watching him climb, I don't know whether it's that he's got a good ape index, or whether it's anything to do, you could say it's down to a technical side of things, but he seems vertically to have an extremely good reach. From wherever he is on his foot to the highest point he can reach upwards with, he seems very comfortable. I saw it in Haiyang, him bypassing certain holds to go straight to a next one, just cutting out a part of the route because he knows he can reach it.
Yeah, he's very comfortable with his feet low, extended like that, which is actually funny because he's also very comfortable like in hand-foot match situations. So he's going to try to crawl. He needs to go with his right hand to the far one. He needs to go to the pinch.
To this one or the one next to it?
The next one. He needs to go to the next one with his right hand.
He just doesn't feel
And
comfortable doing
and you
it.
can see he's starting to get a little bit nervous. The crowd's going to start to cheer him on, and he's going to have to commit. There's a small chance he falls here, but I hope he gets through it. He can get through it.
Taking some time to go a little bit lower down. Not push too much, stay in a
That's
difficult
good.
position for too long.
Yeah, just pull
Now
up
he's
all
eyeing
the way to the
second
second
one.
one.
Really
Just
went
commit
for
to
it. He's
Commit
changed
to
his
this,
mind.
yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Back flag. Match feet. Come on, yeah, that's it. And he's through it. He's gonna have a small sigh of relief. And
Yeah, but we
keep
hope
going on
not
the route.
too much of a sigh of relief. We don't want him to start getting a little bit overconfident here. He's about to hit another very difficult move. There it is. It's the Widowmaker of
So
this
here's another
route.
one. And his
And there
left
it is
hand
again.
blows.
Which, at this stage, is going to guarantee Sachi at least the silver medal. At a height of 28 plus.
Yep, no, it guarantees Sachi silver medal, and I think he got too bogged down on the part where he slowed down exactly like Ramon, and he will beat Ramon in a countback to the semifinal round. But I mean, it seems like almost everyone in this finals is disappointed with the result.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of low. I mean, Sachi's got a massive smile on his face. He's feeling very comfortable right now. But, you know, looking at the results at the moment, there are only 2 athletes so far that have actually broken into the 20s.
Yeah, and even before Romain climbed, because he was the second to last climber, it guaranteed Sachi a podium. He wasn't even counting track of how many people were left to climb, but now we're on our last climber.
Just one more, Jakob Schubert.
Last climber.
To see if we can make any dent on it. So Domen at the moment is currently in 3rd place.
Yeah, Domen's in 2nd place right now. Is Domen not
Yes,
in?
he is. Yes,
Yeah,
he is.
it
Sorry, my
guarantees him a
bad.
medal.
He is 23 plus.
He's 2nd or
So-
3rd. Sachi's 1st or 2nd, and right now there's a French on the podium. So if Jakob makes a mistake, falls before, even if he falls on the same move as Romain and Ramon, there will be a French man on the podium.
If he falls on the same move?
If he falls on the same move we just saw the last 2 competitors fall on, that hard up with the right hand,
Would that knock Ramon off the
that
podium?
would knock. No, it would put Jakob in 4th. He would come 4th in countback, but because the French competitor before Romain, Thomas Ballet, passed that move just by 2 moves. And coming to Jakob now, he's another one where I'm gonna say he should. I think if he climbs well, he wins the comp here.
Well,
Put it all out there again.
28th hole to get to at this point. Obviously you and Jakob are great friends, but in terms of his finger injury that we've had him dealing with recently, how much is he over that at this stage?
I mean, I don't want to tell too much about his injury if he doesn't want to tell people, but I know that he's obviously good enough to compete, and he gets sore, especially when he gets cold. So it's cold out there right now, and if his fingers numb up, he's really not going to like it, for sure. But after this beginning part, the rest of the holds are mostly on kind of slopers and pinches, so after this one, there's not a lot of crimps, so his hands shouldn't numb up, I hope, and he knows, I think he knows that all these moves are really hard.
Testing the left one here again.
And he'll go again with this foot, and then he'll just have to say, okay, it's hard. Yeah, he just has to go for it. Back flag and go for it. Oh yes, that is an undercling. He just has to do it like that. It's so hard, and
Doesn't
just
look
have to do it.
there at all.
You have to use power to get through that move, and
Okay, so up to the banana pinch here, which is the 15th hole, 16th, just
go.
ahead of him. There it is.
just getting that small rest just to breathe. Start moves are so hard.
Any advantage to getting a foot up on top of one of the pinches below him here?
I think,
See he's going for it.
I mean, this is crazy if he does it like this. Oh, uses his height to his advantage. That was a really good move. This puts him into 4th place. If he does 2 more moves, he'll be on the podium.
So that got him over onto 18th hold now. He's taken, with matching that one, that's 18. Up to the next, that's 19. If he can match here, that's 20.
So he matches.
That is 20, which I believe
So
puts him on
Jakob
the
is
podium, right?
at worst 3rd now, and He's going to get up into some holds maybe he'll be more comfortable on.
Okay, so up to the top here, that's the 23rd hold here, which is now challenging.
So there you go. He's
Domin Skofic, and he's pushed up ahead there. Now on to the 24th here. Jakob looking good.
Oh, and he looks tired. He has to get his foot up. He can't just jump for it.
Now that was trying to attempt to get up to the 26th? Was that bypassing?
I don't know exactly what number it is, but it's good enough for a silver medal.
Now we were here then on the 23rd.
Yeah,
He was pumping for the 26th.
I think he got 26 minus or 25 plus, which is he doesn't know it yet, but silver medal. And it's crazy. I mean, Sachi wins. Sachi wins with the 28 plus, first competitor out.
Yeah, you can tell that he's pretty happy about that as well. So.
Yeah, and a huge false sense of security for us and for all the fans watching online. You see Sachi just go up to 28 and you say, okay, maybe everyone will get a bit higher than him, and sure enough, no.
Okay, so not the most thrilling final at this stage. Unfortunately, you know, a really tough route. These guys have climbed the really difficult semi-finals already today. The weather conditions are against them. It is cold, it is wet out there now as well. It's late in the day. There's a lot of things working against them. Extremely tough route here to deal with. That's going to put Jakob up onto the podium as well. Domin on the podium, and Sachi Ama, the first World Cup of 2014, manages to take first place, and it's not even by default really. It's clear that I know he was first out, and I suppose that, you know, the holds could be a little bit better, but it was still an incredible performance on this route that we've seen that's been this difficult. You know, it's not a top. We love to see the tops, but a height of 28 plus. The only person that came close to that was Jakob, and that was because he tried to pop to the 26th hole.
Yeah, no, it's basically a long boulder problem, because I mean, if you do 20 moves, you're on the podium.
Yeah. So Sachi Ama takes the gold medal, Domin Skofic the silver, and Jakob Schubert takes the silver, and Domin Skofic takes the bronze. Okay guys, so what we're going to do now is bring up the results for you on the screen. These are the results as we have them at the current moment in time.
Bon, alors mesdames et messieurs, voilà, juste 5 minutes de plus. Ah bon, à mon avis, on a rajouté 50 prises sur le mur.
Good during the delay.
So we're just going to bring up the results for you on the screen now. So the results we have at present, the final two results have not been updated yet. So this is what we have on the screen for you at the moment. Sachi Ama was with a height of 28 plus. Now we've noticed now that Jakob has climbed as well, that he's going to be pushing Domin Skofic down into third place, meaning that it will be Jakob Schubert in second place and then Domin Skofic in third. So those are your podium positions. Thomas Bally just missing out on a position on the podium. Ramon Julien Blanc down there with a height of 16 plus. It almost seems kind of strange to say. Magnus Mimpo 16 plus. Urban Primozic 13 plus. And then of course I think Ramon de Grange is in there as well with a height of 16 plus also. So Magnus, Ramon and Ramon de Grange all with a height of 16 plus on a route that comprises 47 holes. It's just bizarre. So that's the standings that we have at the moment. Obviously the results will be updated very shortly. We still have to allow a certain window in time there for any appeals that might come through. I have just been told that we're going to have a brief pause whilst some drying is done here, because it is very wet here now before we get started with the women's finals. And while that is happening, what I'm going to do is introduce my second co-comp for this evening. There you are, there's a surprise in the bag for you this evening, guys. It's not just Sean that's with us, but we also have Matilda Serra that's with us as well, that's going to talk us through the women's finals. Matilda, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
How have you found the competition so far?
It was good. I mean, it was hard and cold, but it was really fun and the routes were good, I think. I hope the women's final will be better than the men's final.
You've just been sitting here quietly listening and watching what's been going on the screen. So what are your thoughts of what we've just seen for the men's final? Really tough route, right?
Really tough, maybe, well, clearly too hard. It's too bad for the crowd and for the climbers. I mean, it's so frustrating when you just fall so fast. So I can't imagine the frustration of the climbers. It's too bad.
So you're going to stick with us, and as Sean was mentioning earlier on, he always feels a bit awkward about commentating on the women when the women get out and climbing. So we've got an inside eye now with Mathilde being here with us as well. Have you spoken to any of the finalists earlier today? How are they feeling?
Yes, I spoke to Charlotte Durif, which is a friend of mine. She was very excited to be in finals. She found all the routes very hard here, and she's very excited. I'm sure she'll climb good because she has nothing to lose now. She qualified in 8th place, so I hope she climbs well and have fun. Yeah.
Okay, so the route setter's here. That's Jan Zabranik, who's one of the guys on the team here. He'll be chief at Briançon next week, and he's just sorting out the holds here, making sure that we're okay to get started on the women's route in a few moments' time. While we are doing that then, let's have a little bit of a catch-up on what it is exactly about Chamonix that makes it so special.
The audience is great here. Yes, because there are a lot of people and everybody cheer us is great. The crowd, definitely. I mean, it's a incredible crowd, especially when it's a good weather. But even though people come even for the qualification, if there would be rain in other comps, nobody would come. So I like it because of a good crowd and good organization. Yeah.
Favorite weather? Yes, weather is amazing for climbing in Chamonix. Lot of rain, lot of cold. It's really, really good.
Huge crowd.
Spectators.
I love the atmosphere here. It's amazing.
My favorite is Mount Mont Blanc and with the town. Yeah, I like here. C'est pas dire l'ambiance.
Ambiance.
Ambiance.
The Bar National. The Bar National. It's a very famous mountaineering and climbing bar in Chamonix, populated by Brits over the last few decades.
It's a landscape. Not today because of the rain, but the landscape.
It's very nice routes.
My favorite thing in Chamonix is the view. Here, it's really beautiful, and I'm really happy that we have such a competition in Chamonix.
I'm Vincent Cosset. I work for the French Federation since many years on the national and international sport climbing events.
Vincent, talk to me a little bit about this event and its history with the IFSC.
Well, we are here in Chamonix since many years now, because the first competition organized in Chamonix was a bouldering competition called the Top Rock Challenge in 1998. And it was in another place from here. It was in the Gaillan, a famous climbing place in Chamonix. And it was the year before the first World Cup bouldering competition. So we are here since now 16 years. We started the lead competition in 1999. It was bouldering, speed and lead competition. In 2003, the World Championship was organized in Chamonix, and we organized twice European Championship, so lead and speed. One in one in 2003 to 2002, and last year the European Championship lead and speed in Chamonix here.
What do you think makes this place and this venue, the setup and the organisation here, what makes it such a special venue?
We can say that it's almost a love story between in Chamonix between sport climbing and big events, because Chamonix is a great place of mountaineering, and the interesting things here is that we organize pure sport climbing in the center of the historical alpinism town. And that's why Chamonix is a great place for us, for IFSC, to organize such great events with a lot of people.
For the future, do you think we'll keep continuing using this as a venue?
Yeah, for the future we keep going in organizing a World Cup lead and speed here, sometimes paraclimbing too, and European Speed Cup too, because Chamonix, year after year, this event became one of the major events of the season for audience, for IFSC, and for competitor. You know, in downhill skill, you have Kitzbühel, for example, and in sport climbing, I think we have Chamonix. And every competitor have a dream, I think, in his life, is to win the competition here in Chamonix, in front of a lot of people with a great ambience.
Vince, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
Big up for Akio Noguchi, Japan. Une championne de bloc, Akio Noguchi, une championne de défilé des rares à pouvoir remporter les 2 Coupes du Monde. Troisième à se présenter, elle était 6e de la Coupe du Monde la semaine dernière. Elle arrive de la Russie, l'arc de destruction massive russe. Applaudissements pour Dinara Fakridinova, Russia. Elle est jeune, elle est junior en première année, elle a toujours gagné les coupes de monde dans sa carrière, en mini, en cadette. Elle a fait son premier podium la semaine dernière en Chine. Elle termine 3e et pourtant elle est seulement junior en première année. Elle représente la Belgique, vice-championne du monde cadette. Applaudissements pour Anna Verhoeven. Quatrième finale de sa carrière et 9e de la dernière Coupe du Monde en Chine. Representing Japan, I would like a big applause for Riza Ota, Japan. Elle a terminé 2e la semaine dernière en Chine. She was 2nd position last week in China for the first World Cup. Representing Austria, I would like a big applause for Magdalena Rocha. Plusieurs podiums dans sa carrière, on l'appelle la tornade slovène. Ça a été la seule à sortir la voie de qualif pendant cette compétition ici à Chamonix. 2e du classement mondial la saison dernière, 2e du classement mondial il y a 2 ans et leader du classement mondial les autres années. Applaudissements pour la Slovène, Mina Markovic. Et la dernière finaliste, mesdames et messieurs, 2 années de suite, vainqueur du classement mondial de la Coupe du Monde, la meilleure grimpeuse de la planète actuellement, representing Korea, Jain Kim. Une ovation pour les finalistes, tout le monde. Okay, it's time for the observation, girls. Allez, pareil que tout à l'heure, 6 minutes pour l'observation de la voie. On croise les doigts. Allez, c'est 6 minutes d'observation.
Now into our observation period, and as promised, we have Adam Kostunik back in the booth to have a brief conversation with us about the women's route here then, what we can expect to see here from the very off. Adam, take it away from what we're looking at.
Okay, we're looking at a bottom, but we changed really fast to get it very easy and to get through going up to the first 2 window volumes. From that part on, the route stays as we planned it, and it was it's mostly about a bit slopey, small holes that work on shoulder moves, but all the way until the hole number 25, this route should not be so hard. Then 25, 26, that's one move, which is a bit of a longer one, but a positive. So this should be okay. And in fact, as for the men, this route should start up from number 26, going up all the way from there without any big rest, but a longer section than in the men's. Longer resistance section on small, but not small, just simply flat holds, flat, quite big edges. So something that should quite fit women's style. Let's hope they'll be able to get there.
So in terms of this one, if we were to point out a crux, I mean, you're saying it begins around 26. We're expecting that to happen. We've made some changes already due to the conditions here at the venue. It's wet, it's cold. We've obviously seen that affecting the men earlier on. So from this point here, we're talking 26 onwards, it's getting tough. Where are the big cruxes on this route?
The big cruxes are around number, it's not a big crux, but this section is definitely getting harder. Looking at numbers 44, 40, from 42,
just for you guys watching back at home, you can see that there, the 42,
yeah, it's like the free
it's the triplet there, you can see.
It's the triple, and that part, where it begins to be really hard. You see the last quick draw is before of that, so you go above the draw, and that's the period where you just should not stop. If you read it correctly, this is a resistant period on the resistance section on flat edges with a dynamic move to the last volume.
Perfect. Adam, thank you very much. I know you're very busy. I'm going to let you get back out.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you. So we're looking at that screen at the moment. We can see here the upper section of the wall on the women's route, and that triplet there is just towards the center of the wall. Those three volumes that are together, it's a bit of a strange move. The one on the far right-hand side of that triplet, the right-hand blue hold, is 41. You then go down to 42 to the next one across, then over again to 43, which is the far left, and then back across to that very first right-hand hold, and that then becomes 44. So it's kind of like a little circle around that triangle there before you then start pushing up. It could cause some problems in how they read the route, but we're looking at it really kicking off around the 26th hold, which you can just see at the very bottom of our screen here. It's those three orange volumes that you can see there on the wall, the orange holds lower down. The 26th is the bottom one of those three holds. So that's the point that Adam is expecting. The team are expecting for it to really, really kick off from that point there. And as he's just said, and we've just seen, that delay that we had a few moments ago was to change the route to make it a little bit easier for the female athletes a little bit early on. It's clear that they've had some surprises here tonight, and they're trying to combat that to make sure that we get a good show and a good set of results. Mathilde, from what you've seen so far, looking at the route, what exactly are you expecting to see here out of the female athletes that we've got in this final? Which ones are you thinking are really going to be able to deal with something like this?
So I think it's a really hard route. It looks really confusing, at least to me. I think it's gonna get really hard from the 26th hold, which is the first orange one. There is a big cross over there, and I think Mina and Jain should feel pretty comfortable because it's really resistant. I don't know about the other girls. I mean, they're pretty young, and they might get, I don't know, a little panicked. So we'll see, but it'll be exciting.
What we have definitely seen more and more of over the past few years is this younger tier of athletes pushing forward and putting on an incredible show for us. You can see some of them there. Arisa Otto, one of them, Annick Verhoeven, the other one, and finally Magdalena Roek. Now, Magdalena Roek and Annick Verhoeven have both got a lot of experience at senior finals now. It happened towards the end of last year, and now again from the start of this year. They were both in the very first finals there as well. So we're hoping that even though they are the younger athletes there, their experience in general over the length of their career on the junior circuits and the youth circuits is going to help them out here. It's definitely been proving that way so far. We've seen medals from two of these younger athletes at our previous World Cup in Haiyang from Annick Verhoeven and also from Magdalena Roek. Very impressive performances there from them. So we have got some of the more experienced athletes. Of course, we're always expecting Mina Markovic and Kinyain to put on a fantastic show. I'm going to stay tuned with you guys in the chat feed as well. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do on Twitter using the hashtag at the bottom right-hand corner. We'll keep our eyes on that one as well. If there are any questions that you want to ask or send them into us here, you can do so. We are watching and we'll be listening up to see what's going on from you guys at home.
Donc franchement, ils s'attendaient vraiment pas à une finale comme ça. Alors même si ça avait été vraiment sec, quand même ils ont trouvé que c'est quand même bien tendu. Mais bon, ils auraient peut-être pu le faire. Applaudissements pour les filles. Terminé, time over. Congratulations. And good luck, girls.
So our athletes are now moving back into the isolation. We've got a brief moment here for them to get ready before we bring out our very first female athlete that's going to be coming to join us here today, and that is Charlotte Durif, your teammate. Now, you said you spoke to her earlier on, Mathilde. She's feeling comfortable, she's feeling confident?
Et on va commencer d'entrée de jeu à monter la pression sur Chamonix parce que dans 3-4 minutes on va accueillir la première et ça sera notre légende.
Say that one again to us. We lost you for a moment there. So Charlotte, then, she's feeling comfortable.
Yes, I think she's feeling comfortable. She's always happy to be in the finals. I think she won't have any pressure, at least I hope so. If she climbs fast, I think she should be fine. She just always has to keep a good rhythm because, as you may know, she's quite a slow climber.
Stylistically, looking at this route and looking at the female athletes, I know you've pointed out that Mina Markovic and Jain are going to be feeling comfortable-ish around that point. Looking at some of the others, we've got Dinara Fektanova here as well. Incredible performance last year, took the European Championship here in Chamonix. So she has that to her advantage. The home crowd are going to be cheering for her because they're used to seeing her win here. And also Akio Noguchi, a bit of a different one here. Very, very prolific boulderer. She won the overall World Cup rankings this year. How is a boulderer going to deal with this route?
I think, well, because it's been really hard all weekend, I think she's going to be more comfortable than all of us lead climbers. The one thing might be that she doesn't have maybe as much resistance as the other ones, but she always climbs so well. I'm sure she'll do fine.
Okay, so here on your screen at the moment, you can see the upper section of the route. That's up to the 52nd hold here. That is the upper section, as we were talking about. That 26th hold is where it's really going to start to get tough here. The lowest of the triple orange holes that you can see there, moving up into the blue and all the way to the top. Another higgledy-piggledy route here for them to deal with. To see how they get on with this one. Obviously, we've got the boulderer in there as well. Questions coming in from Floris saying, does the wet weather make climbing harder even though the wall is dry? That's a question for you, Mathilde. Does the wet weather make climbing harder even though the wall is dry?
Oh yeah, of course, because it's humid. You can feel it on the holds, like that small layer of humidity, and so yes, it makes it harder.
There you are. Question answered. Next question. So yeah, apparently we've had a bit of a drop down in the feed there. Hopefully it's back and you guys are all okay. As you are now clearly aware, we have Jakob Schubert in second place here. A lot of people cheering for Domen as well. Commander, who's actually at the venue here and still tweeting. I'm loving the commitment at the moment. So a few moments time, we'll welcome out the first female athlete here. That will be Charlotte Durif. While we are waiting for our first female athlete, Sean's just got back from speaking to the rest of the athletes down on the ground. I saw you chatting with Magnus and Jakob and everyone. Just what are they saying about their experience?
Well, obviously that the route was super hard. I mean, to fall on the first 30 moves of the route, it's obviously going to be hard, but they were saying that the holds, they just felt wet, and it wasn't because they were actually wet. I think it's just because the humidity here is crazy. I mean, it's pouring rain out there. I'm sure a little bit of water gets on the holds, then they can feel it, and they said it felt like their hands were wet. Then they didn't know any of the holds. They didn't really know where to go. They didn't know, okay, I got to grab that hold in that one place, so it made them a little bit nervous. And as you can see, none of them got over halfway. Hard for them.
So much moisture in the air is then affecting the holds, making them a lot wetter. I know they said a few moments ago that they're going to take a moment. Graham came in and said that they're going to take a moment to dry the women's route a little bit more. I'm not sure how much of that they've done. I know that they've also changed the women's route a little bit at the bottom just to make sure that it is a bit easier to ease up to where they're going to. They want to give you a good show, but conditions definitely bearing a part then, as well as it being a tough route.
Definitely. I mean, it's hard to see on the stream, but it is pouring rain out there. It's light. It's a light pour. It's not like, I don't know, but it's definitely raining out there and everyone's getting wet. So, you know, just from the moisture in the air, the holds are going to get wet as well.
Thanks, Sean. So I'm going to let Sean relax a little bit, hand over to my co-com for this one, which is Mathilde Becerra, who will be here with us throughout the women's final. Charlotte Durif here, getting ready in isolation. Just trying to dry everything off by the look of things. Of course, keeping the feet dry before you move out onto the wall is also a very important thing. So I've seen these these shoe socks that have started to be appearing recently. What's that all about?
Well, it's, I think, maybe more of a mental thing. Just being sure that your shoes are fine, not wet, and clean and everything. But I personally really like it. Yeah, maybe it's just reassuring.
Do you think there's any disadvantage to having wet on the shoe at all?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you would sleep a lot more if you had wet shoes. Of course, it's really important to have a good friction on the climbing shoes. So yeah, you don't want them wet at all. Some of them even put chalk on the shoes. I don't know if that works, but yeah.
So humidity playing a massive part in the finals here in Chamonix. We've seen firsthand what it's done to some of the male athletes here. Now we're about to see the female finals. Liquid chalk here. Answer a question for me on this one. What are the advantages or the disadvantages, and when and where would you switch from using dry chalk to using liquid chalk?
One more time, I think it's more like a mental thing. Some climbers really like to use liquid chalk, some don't. It really depends. I usually like to use liquid chalk during semis and finals. I just think it's one more thing that's gonna make me last longer and stick the holds better. I think Sean is quite the same. He likes putting on liquid chalk, but I don't know. I think some of them really don't like it.
So for you, it's just a matter of the semis and finals at the time where the liquid chalk comes out. It's like a special extra
it's not
thing.
weather
Like wearing
related.
a pair of pants or something like that.
Yeah. No. Maybe the advantage is that you don't have to chalk as much as if you only use dry chalk. But yeah, no weather relation.
So we're about to see Charlotte Durif get started here on this route. Many more holds on this one than we've seen in the men's route a moment ago, although we didn't actually get to see all of the holds in the men's route, but there's 52 of them here on this route. Starting off with quite an interesting section of moving up. I mean, would you say it's compression? Is it compression at this point?
Not really compression. It's just, I think, just figuring out how to do that first section. But I don't think it's actually that hard. The holds are pretty good, and we have big feet. So as you see here, Charlotte did it just fine.
Oh, when I'm talking about the compression section, for you guys at home, I don't mean the section of the wall here. It's actually a little bit ahead of this. It's 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I'll point it out to you in a moment. These crescent moons that first start us off before then moving over to the left a little bit to then get onto the triangles. I'll show you in a second. There's the first one of them. And this is the point where I was thinking it might take a bit of compression or something, but we'll see what happens. She's looking very relaxed at the moment.
Yeah, which is good, really good.
That's the hold they've changed. There we go.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so this is the hold that they've changed here on the route map that we have from earlier on. The 12th and 13th hold, the one that Charlotte is currently resting on, was actually turned vertical. So it was between the right and the left one. And it looks also as well like 11, 9 and 10. So all of these crescents have actually been turned to be give a little bit more extra edge. Instead of it being undercut more than anything, it's now been given a bit of a positive edge on here instead. And as you can see, Charlotte taking full advantage of that one here. Rest up a little second before she gets up into quite a mass section of holds here, up towards the 20s. She's just ahead of her as she moves into the roof. And this was the point in the men's semi-finals earlier that we had some really tough stuff going on. And I'm not entirely sure how much stuff has changed, because this first two holds, which is 15 and 16, she's just going up to now. They look like they could be different holds, but it's around the same point on the wall that we saw from the men's. She's here on the two triangle points now, which is marking her 16th hold, pushing up from this point now. As you can see the timer in the corner there, 5 minutes and 40 left on the clock here. As a climber yourself, how aware are you of the time?
Really aware. I always have my watch on my harness.
It's interesting to see who does wear one and who doesn't.
Oh yeah, I do.
Who pays attention or not.
I used to be a very slow climber when I was in the French youth team, and so I'm still really trying to work on that, so I always have my watch just in case. And I know Charlotte does too, but she loves resting and she can recover so well that she takes advantage of any good hold or even not so good.
Now you said yourself that she's a slow climber. Now, do you think that's going to be something that's held against her on this one?
Possibly, yes. Depends on how she keeps going, but I mean, it's already been like, yeah, 3 minutes.
She's approaching her halfway point now, but she's actually approaching around about the halfway point on the wall. She's currently on the 22nd and 21st when she's matched. There it is. 22nd hold here. The 25th is the other triangle, the other grey triangle just above her, with that next crescent moon that you can just see there ahead of her. She moves past that, she'll be over halfway. She's got roughly 30 seconds to do that, and if so, she's moving at a good pace. Nice to see Natalie Berry joining us here, saying watching the finals in Chamonix, looking forward to watching the event live in Briançon next weekend. Nice to know you'll be joining us. Hello to Katie, who has a question for Sean, but I'm going to put it to Mathilde here, which is, where do you think Kim Jain would place in a men's comp?
Well, that's funny. I really don't know. I think she's very short, so I don't know if she would have felt comfortable at all. Well, Charlotte just passed that really far move, which is really good.
27th. She's actually passed that now with the toe, but she's on the 26th hold now with her hands.
Don't know how she can rest there, but it's Charlotte. So.
It's looking like
she's doing really good.
Sequence here. She's going straight up to the 31st hold here. And now up to 32nd. If she matches here, that's 33. The crowd, as you can probably hear, getting right behind her here. That's the 34th hold. This is the competition that the crowd gathered to see. They wanted to see athletes doing exactly what Charlotte Durif is doing right now.
Yeah, she's doing really well. I think she's starting to get a little bit tired now, like a lot tired.
Big moves, can't quite make it. That was the 36th hold that she was on. A good push from that point up towards the 37, but not quite enough. That's going to give her a 36 plus and put her on the leader's chair for a little while as we get ready to welcome our next athlete. Anything she did wrong there at all?
No, I think she climbed great. She took advantage of the good holds. I mean, it was clean and nice. I think she'll be happy with that.
So 36 plus there for Charlotte Durif. We get ready to welcome our next female athlete out here, which will be Akio Noguchi. As I mentioned a few moments ago, Akio predominantly a boulderer. If you are unaware of her exploits as a boulderer, you can get onto the IFSC's YouTube and rewatch all of the boulder season from this year, which ended up with Akio Noguchi being placed first World Cup rankings this year. World ranking in lead, though, Akio Noguchi is 8th in the world ranking in lead as well. So we're also dealing with a very much potential podium position athlete here. The World Cup rankings at the end of the lead season last year, she was 7th. And it's very difficult to see her lead results because you have to get through all the boulder rankings first to deal with it. But a second place at Crown in 2013. At the end of last year, a silver medal there for her, so definitely a contender here. We've seen her on the podium before. Just an exceptional climber all round, but particularly reading beta and dealing with tough block-like sections, which is what we're going to see coming into play around the 26th hole and moving up from there.
Allez, c'est gamba, gamba pour Akio. Gamba, Akio. Alors ça peut l'aider, hein. Ça peut l'aider d'être une bloqueuse. Certains mouvements peuvent être à son avantage. C'est un petit gabarit Akio Noguchi. On va retrouver dans le même gabarit Kim Jain, ça sera pareil. Et bien sûr, Dinara, la russe.
So Sean's just pointed out something to us as well. We're looking at all the athletes that we've got here, and Mina Markovic in our women's final is the oldest athlete here today, and she's 1987. She's the same as Sean and myself. She's around 27 years old. Sean's just said, I've never been the oldest in a final ever. So Mina is the oldest here at just 27 years old. You see Magdalena Roth, 94, Risa Ota, 93, Anna Verhoeven, 96, Dinara Fakradinova, 92. Very, very young lineup here in the finals. So Akio up to the first two triangles here then on the wall. This is the 16th hole, just clipping in at this point.
Yeah, so we can see that Akio didn't stop at all on that jog. She's already 2 minutes in and went much faster than Charlotte.
Do you think she's going to be aware that she's just finished the bowl season in terms of starting the lead season? Maybe the endurance training isn't up to as much or as high a standard as it would be later on in the year?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I don't know if she had time to build endurance between the bouldering season and now, but she's so strong anyway. She has so much power that she doesn't need that much endurance. And she's a very good climber, obviously, very talented, which helps.
You can see her reading the route ahead of her here, just taking a moment to take stock. She's currently on the 22nd hold here. It's home to 52, remember, all in all. Any questions you guys have for us? Even if you just want to say hello, you know where to go to. It's the bottom right corner of your screen. We are here on the tweets. Cam here saying that the route looks pretty cruisy up until her fall, so we'll see how this one goes down. So interesting, Cam saying it's looking pretty easy up until the 36th point. Mathilde, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I think the route looks much better than the men's. A lot more.
Straightforward.
Sorry, yeah, the routes looks like it flowed much better, and it's really better to watch too. I'm sure the girls will have fun.
From what you've seen so far of this one as well, looking at our route map that we have in front of us here, points that you're thinking is going to be a really difficult move. You're still saying you're reckoning around this 42, 43, 44 point. Big move there for Akio Noguchi, taking it with the hand. So yeah, she's going to go about this. Asking for a bit of support there on the wall. She's wearing tape here on the right wrist. She goes into the 30th hold here now. Move across onto the 31st. Let's see if she can start pushing up to challenge Charlotte Durif here. Every move now crucial. Big move, manages to latch it.
Yeah, I think that part from the orange holds, from here I think everything is hard. You can see it, like.
That's the 34th hold she just took there. Cheeky heel hook on one side, getting ready to clip in by the look of things, then deciding against it. Get the second heel up a little bit higher and now feeling a bit more comfortable. A bit more chalk, pushes again. So we are now to the 36th hold. This next move is what cost Charlotte Durif her climb. Will it be so for Akio Noguchi? Here we go. exactly the same. So we have found a potential crux point on this route, lower than we at first anticipated. Akio Noguchi down at the same point as Charlotte Durif, but due to countback they will be split, which will knock Charlotte Durif off the leader's chair and put Akio Noguchi onto it. Still keeps Charlotte on the podium for now, though. We get ready to welcome our next female athlete out here. The tape that she's got on her right arm, just for people that are unaware of it, is there any help to that? We see a lot of athletes with taped up shoulders or knee, offers a bit of support, right?
Yes, of course. I mean, whenever it's a bit sore, usually climbers like to tape where it hurts a bit, probably because they feel more confident and it doesn't hurt as much. But I'm sure it's not something really bad, so all climbers do it.
So you use it yourself? Do you use it? I've seen a lot of people using it on older injuries, just to give that, once the muscle has repaired itself, if you have had an injury, just to give that bit of extra support. I mean, I know Jain's injury is relatively recent, but she's heavily strapping that right knee now due to the incident last year. Have you had any dinks or nicks yourself or injuries?
Not really. I'm quite lucky, but I remember like whenever my muscles in back are sore or something, I like to strap it just to get that extra support, and it just helps you in your head. You just feel better.
I have to apologise to Katie for making it feel old. Again, I'm just going to put that one on Sean. Everything that goes wrong this evening, it's just Sean's fault, okay? I'm dipping out on the flag. Hello to Sheila as well, that's getting in touch, saying hello to Mathilde. We'll see her next week in Briançon as we welcome Denara Fakhretdinova, another one that's got quite a lot of heavy strapping on the right shoulder. We've seen that all the way through this competition. Is this because of an old injury? Do you think this is because of something in particular that's happened to her shoulder?
I don't know.
It's looking like Sean knows. I'm going to put him on.
Actually, I know not really about her injury, but I know that she injured it in the bouldering finals at the World Cup in Hayang.
I seem to remember seeing her twinge.
Yeah, she did it on one of the moves. She tried to do the problem after she came back in ISO, and I believe it wasn't even before the fourth boulder. And she was really struggling with it, and she was almost in tears. And then I guess she got a good massage from someone, and the next day she did lead, but with it all taped up, and she's been really taping it. There's even 2 colors of tape, which is well, you can see that she's taped it, and but that's where she got it.
I know exactly which point you're on about now. Thanks for that. That's just reminded me of it. It was the one where they kind of ended up upside down. They ended up in that really awkward position. The men had a very similar one that was really difficult during the boulders in Hayang. She's up to the triangle now. She's moving relatively well. Mathilde, do you think?
Yeah, she moved really fast. I think she's comfortable, maybe a little tensed, I would say.
So up here now onto the second grey volume and moving pretty fast here at the point. Now she's 6:40 still left on the clock, and she's already into the 20s here. Definitely attacking the wall. Do you think that has anything to do with the weather, the conditions here, that she's going to be aware of that? She's hoping if she can move fast, she won't exhaust herself too much, that she won't get too wet on the wall.
I think it's fine here. Maybe it was more at the beginning of the route. I saw her I think her figures were wet at the beginning, but seems to be better at this height.
Just for those of you that are not aware, joining me in the commentary box at the moment is Mathilde Becerra from the French team. And occasionally in random spurts, Sean McCall in and out at the moment. Mathilde is here to give us the inside eye for the female climbers. Looking good at the moment from Denara though, right?
Yeah, she's looking really good. She has to take so much more risk, as you can see here, because she's very small. But she's doing great.
So she's up onto that first real crux. That was a bit of a dangerous pop there, but she manages to get onto it. It's a very positive hold though, right? Very positive hold there for her to move up to. onto the 29th, switching back to the 26th here. That hold there, we've seen heel hooks galore from different angles. We've seen Akio deciding to go with the hand like we've seen from Dinara here, but it's a very positive hold, this one here, the 29th.
Yes,
so she
yes.
knows when she's going
It's
for a
very
pop,
good.
she can get that. She's going to be okay. So Dinara looking good here at the moment. Still hesitant here at this point then, so she's trying to decide what she's doing here. She's been up and down through this section for quite a bit. She's going to be wasting a bit of energy here. What's the problem here for her? Why is she not comfortable going for this push, do you think?
I think she really wasn't comfortable putting her heel up there, but she figured it out. I think it's much harder the way she did it. Hopefully she can rest a bit.
Do you think there is a potential spot here for her to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she's a great climber and she's very powerful. I think if she manages to recover a bit, she'll be fine until the next hard move.
Seems like she's not quite sure what to do here. The white chalk you can see on the hold is a little heads up from the route setters as to where the hand needs to shoot out to when you take that hold.
Yeah.
Different here though from Dinara, kind of went for a compression move there.
Yeah, that was very smart of her. Because I'm not sure she would have done that big move on the sloper, so it was very good the way she did it.
She's currently resting more on the 35th, but she has taken that there as the 36th hold, so we get ready to see if she's going to manage to make this next push that many of the other athletes have fallen on, and the same happens to Dinara. You can see her sort of cursing herself there for a moment as well. Do you think there's anything you can get in the feet a little bit higher on this one? There's that massive hold that we've just seen her use that kind of slap out with the right hand and press on a little bit to get up on top of it. Do you think there's any way of getting the feet a little bit higher and limiting how dynamic that push is?
I don't know. I think when you're that pumped, it gets really hard because the hand holds are not so good, and I think it just looks uncomfortable. So I think you just have to be more fresh to do that move.
Well, that's going to put Dinara now ahead of Akio, knocking her off the leader's point. And we get ready to welcome our next female athlete out here. Then we've had 3 down so far. We now have another 5 to go. The next one off them is Anna Verhoeven from Belgium. Anna, I believe the youngest athlete we have here in the finals. Yep, 96, 17 years old, Schriek in Belgium, world ranked 9th and currently on the World Cup rankings for 2014 after her very first medal on the senior IFSC circuit in Hayang. Just recently, she's currently in 3rd place. Have you seen much of her at all yet, Mathilde?
Yes, I've heard of her. She's a very good climber. She's been dominating the youth category, and she's also a very nice girl. She's always happy, even when she falls. So I really like her style of climbing, and I really like her.
What I love is this moment that she always has before she climbs here. There's a little prayer that happens just before she starts to climb. We were talking about it in Hayang and saying that not only, religion aside, it's also a moment just to focus. We've seen rest spots in 3 or 4 different places so far, so it seems to be like there is always one to be found here on this one. How is everybody doing at home? Let us know how you're doing, where you're joining us from, using the hashtag in the bottom right corner as Anak starts to push into the increased incline now. She's up onto the 19th hold at present with the left hand, you can see there, taking a moment to clip here. Undercling there, relying on the 20th, and pushing up now to the 21st. So just a few moves away now from the point where she'll be going for that large athletic move onto the 26th hold. Are you a fan of climbing in Chamonix, Mathilde? As a venue and the event as a whole, the atmosphere that's provided by the crowd?
Yeah, it is definitely a great event. There is always so many people here just cheering and watching. It's unfortunately always quite cold here in Chamonix, but it's always fun to come, and I really like this event.
Big move, nicely managed there from Anak Verhoeven onto the 26th hold, and this is where it's going to start getting interesting for her. We saw Dinara using a lot of energy around this point early on. We've not seen many of the female athletes actually utilize the 27th hold, which is what Anak's doing here, up to the heel hook and allowing her to get up very quickly onto the 30th hold, and now the 31st. So look how quick she's bypassed that section on the wall that Dinara spent so long working on, managing to make this next pop up as well. Uses the direction from the route setter as about where you need to go with your hand on that one, that bit of white chalk, the heads up from them. She's already now approaching the 36th hold and the point that divides our female athletes at the moment. 3 minutes 50 on the clock, here we go. And she manages it, which is going to put her right to the very top. The first athlete to manage to move ahead of that, and she's still going. That's the 39th hold here for Anak Verhoeven. Up to the 40th, and unfortunately loses it there. Now, do you think she just got a bit excited there? Because she looked good. Why did she fall on that one? It didn't seem like there was a particular reason to come down, moving up to that next hold.
I think she was getting a little tired. It looks really hard up there, and she climbed so well. She was cruising. That was really impressive, and I'm sure she's really happy.
Well, she should be. She's just put herself onto the first place position. Looking very, very good here. So, time to go over onto the leader's chair, and looking at who we still have yet to come. Anak Verhoeven was 5th out, so 5th place at this point, so she was actually the 4th out, so 4 more still yet to come, and she's sitting on the leader's chair. The problem is those 4 involve Risa Ota, Magdalena Rourke, and then Lina Markovic and Kim Jain. Risa Ota next up for us then, an incredible performance in the semi-finals, managing to push the high point after quite a long stint of other female athletes struggling to do so. What do you know about Risa?
I don't know her a lot. I met her in Arco last summer. She's been improving so much. I mean, it's so impressive. I'm really happy that she's been in finals twice now, because she was in finals in Hayang too. She's definitely more like an endurance style of climber, maybe not so powerful or not as powerful as the others, but she climbs really well, and I hope she does well.
I think you might be thinking about Wu Yang there for Risa. In Hayang, just missed out recently. She was 9th at the lead, but Wu Yang last year manages to make it to the final. That was one of her first finals. The other one was Mokpo last year as well. Do you think there is a big impact on these guys that are coming over from really humid climates like Japan, China, Korea, to then come over to Europe and have to deal with the difference in temperature of how they're climbing? Do you think it takes a while to adjust to that? Does it affect you when you when you go out to the Far East or say to America? Are you affected by it?
No, I think they're fine because they're so used to come here anyway to compete, and I think they're able to manage all that kind of things. It's all part of a mental preparation, and I think they just go past it.
Shout out to Muriel, who's joining us, saying watching from Switzerland, and for once it isn't in the middle of the night. I definitely like that. Well, you can get used to that because that's going to start happening over the next few events. We're over in Europe now for a while. Interesting point here from Katie as well, saying a massive height difference between Anak and Dinara. Will it make a difference? Well, it definitely did around that point on the wall through 26 and 29.
Wasabi. Ah, tu veux mettre ta kata? Oui, c'est parce qu'il y a un grimpeur japonais qui s'appelle Takata. Allez pour Risa Ota, s'il vous plaît, tout le monde tape dans les mains. Risa Ota, il va falloir qu'elle accélère, il va pas falloir qu'elle grille toutes les cartouches comme ça sur la voie. Ça va commencer à se sentir. Takata.
I have an apology to make to Mathilde. I'm going to announce that to all of you right now. There were 9 in the final, weren't there, in Hayang? You were right. I need to pipe down.
Thank you.
She did make finals. So, 3rd finals then so far. She had the 2 8th place positions, 1 Mokpo, 1 in Uyang last year. Also made the finals at the start of this one. She is 9th at present on the World Cup rankings for this year. And I believe 14th, 15th on the world rankings. So for an athlete 21 years old from Yamaguchi, definitely an improvement this year, starting to get used to being in a final. Looking good at the moment, up to that tough move onto the 26th hold here now. Very comfortable with that one. Definitely a positive hole for these guys at that point. Not looking too pumped here at all?
She didn't look so comfortable at the bottom, but she definitely has lots of endurance, and she's gonna do the same thing as Dinara, I think. Yeah.
You could see her shaking as soon as she went up for that next blue hold, the 30th. She's now got the 31st. This definitely appears to be a much more difficult way of doing that transition over to the right-hand side. I was wondering whether that move was going to catch somebody at this point. That getting up onto that volume, she was a little bit low there, went round the side instead of over the top. And unfortunately, that'll give her, I believe, a 31 plus at this point, which leaves Anak on the leader's chair at the moment, and puts even more tension on her to see how the next 3 athletes deal with this route ahead of them.
Non. Innovation pour Risa Ota, s'il vous plaît, le public. L'année prochaine, on vous promet qu'on fera venir pour la prochaine grimpeuse le groupe LLF.
Not entirely sure what that was all about at the bottom of the wall there with Risa. One of the officials came across for a chat there. We'll try and find out for you what exactly it is that they were talking about. What material are the walls made of from Stephen Powers? I mean, the walls themselves, they are wood boards.
She's coming on the wall.
Question from David as well. What are the Japanese doing to produce such a strong team of climbers? Any ideas on that one, Mathilde?
I really don't know. Really, it's crazy
moved over with a 36 plus, as has Akio Noguchi. Here's the move. Can she hold it? Yes, a risky moment there, but it looks like she's managed to stick it. Next move up again here sees her onto the 39th hold. It's going to be another thing like we always see with Anak. Magda just pushing ahead of her. There's the 40th, and there's the 41st. So this always happens to Anak. Anak comes out, sets a nice little precedent, and then we see Magda coming out, just managing to push a little bit ahead of her. So this is 41, 42, 43 through to 45 here. Makes a push up there, I believe towards the 46th hold. So I think that's going to give her a height of 45 plus. Wait and see if that comes in. So that's going to put her on top of the leader's chair now. And Anak Verhoeven's going to have to go back, give up her seat here. We welcome a penultimate athlete in a few moments' time. We're going to get ready to welcome out Mina Markovic next up. Both her and Kim Jain with a height of 47 in the semi-finals, but due to count back to the qualifying grounds, it was Kim that came out on top. Count back could be important here. We've seen a division around the 36 plus point. Let's see what happens.
Voilà, et ça c'est ce qu'on adore, regardez. Tout de suite ça discute, tout de suite Anak elle vient lui faire la bise, pourtant elle concède la place de leader. C'est juste ça l'escalade. Attention, la meilleure depuis le début de la compétition. Elle a été plusieurs années consécutives leader du classement général de la Coupe du Monde. C'est la meilleure grimpeuse slovène. C'est la seule à avoir...
So, thoughts then, ladies and gents at home. We have Mina Markovic and Kim Jain still yet to come. They were the two that, as we would expect, myself and Mathilde pointed out at the start, we would expect to see them do well here. So let's see how they get on. There in the background, Magdalena Ryan currently sitting on the leader's chair, now assured of the fact that she will be on the podium this evening. Just remains to be seen where the podium she'll be based. Mina was looking very, very good here in the qualifications. She was the only athlete to have topped the route in the qualifications, or either route. Even Jain didn't manage to top. We've definitely seen her falling into lead mode throughout this competition.
Yes, she's been really strong all weekend. I think she really wants to win because she came 5th in Hayang, I think, and I don't think she really liked that. So she's probably angry now, and she just wants it really bad.
But the thing is, that was exactly the same sort of thing that I was expecting to see from Ramone as well, because of the disaster that he had at Hayang. I was expecting to see the push and the aggression in the performance here, and we had that early fall early on. I mean, I know we've had an insanely difficult men's final, but let's hope that Mina can get angry at this point based on Hayang last week. See if she can possibly get the back here. It seemed at the end of last year that it was, I mean, it always was throughout the entire year a battle between herself and Jain. But it seemed like time and time again that title just got took away from her last year by Kim. Let's see if she can start a new trend this year. Is it just me, or have there been a couple of sketchy moments so far?
Yeah, there has been. I think she knows that the other girls did pretty well, and so now she has lots of pressure. I'm sure she puts lots of pressure on herself. You can see it, the way she climbs, she just always wants to control everything. She's a very static climber.
So up now to the 25th hold. Here's the big move to 26. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. She's a very static climber, very much into the lead style, not wanting to use too many dynamic movements. We saw that from a difference from that by Akio. Very used to those dynamic moves. Mina is also a keen boulderer as well. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Let's see what she's going to do here. Now she's going to have to match if she does that. This is a very tricky position to be in.
This is not looking good.
Down again. Definite misread of beta here from Mina. It's looking like she's going for it again here. A little bit lower, matching. Tough moment here. You've got to realize, you know, how much is she going to have left if she manages this move. Very difficult position to be in.
Wow.
Manages to make it. Unbelievable show of strength there. Switches to a drop knee. Very, very impressive performance from Mina, despite misreading the beta.
You can see how hard she crimps those holes. She doesn't want to let go.
I'm amazed that she got through that, but she did.
Yes.
Is she going to be able to push on from here, though? We're coming up to this point. The 36 hole and the crooks there. Up to the pinch. Looking sketchy again here. That's the 36th. Okay, so this next move is the one that's divided a lot of our athletes, as you can see here. There she goes for it, and she manages it unbelievably. 37th and 38th here. 39th is on the grey volume just ahead of her. I'm amazed that she's still going, but she is. The epic level back muscles have definitely come into play here for her. Big move, manages to take it. That's the 39th.
Well, that's gonna be hard. She doesn't look so good here.
40th hold. This is where we lost Anak. Manages to take the 41st here now. She's going to start moving into this strange triangle move.
Wow.
Now that's the first one.
That's not how she's supposed to do it, but...
Manages again to do something we didn't expect. So that will take her over to, I believe, 42. I think it's going to give her a height of 42. And put her in second, which is going to leave Magdalena Roach on the leader's chair at the present moment in time.
We have just one champion tonight, able to put Magda in second position, but we will see that in a few seconds, but I would like a big applause for...
So Mina back down on the ground then. That's going to give her second place. Not quite enough to take her up into the lead, unfortunately, but a fantastic performance despite very bizarre ways of dealing with the wall in front of her, the route that she was dealing with. You know, it is a personal thing. Every athlete deals with it in a certain way.
So Magdalena has secured podium now. That's very good for her.
Yeah, height of 45 plus, which is what we were thinking. She was popping for the 46th hold, so that puts her at the very top there. Now Mina just moved on to the 42nd hold, which is putting her in second at the moment, and Anak Verhoeven in third place at present, with Kim Jain still to come. So very nerve-wracking point now for Anak. Also for Magdalena as well, though, holding the first place position. While Mina will be disappointed, at least she can rest assured knowing that she's going home with the podium here.
Oh, she almost forgot to take off her socks shoes. That happened once to Sachi, and he jumped down, and so it was over.
So it was over.
Yeah, he still had his socks on. So he jumped down and he was like, oh no.
If you're on the wall and you've managed to get, say, to where she is now, and you've realised you've got your socks on, it would be okay to take them off, right? When
Yes,
you're on the wall,
absolutely.
as long as you just don't get down.
Exactly.
Okay. Still, good job she remembered. So we're starting now with Kim Jain. I said this during the semi-finals earlier on today. As soon as Kim came out, you know, go and put the kettle on, guys. Relax for a bit. Come back in a little while. We'll see how she's doing when she's towards the top, you know. You can relax for a bit now.
Yeah, her style of climbing is always it's so flowing. It's almost peaceful to watch her. It always looks easy. She's
she
so
doesn't really show
impressive.
when she's struggling. You don't really get to see it when she's struggling. She's either on the wall or she's not. Although saying that, there was a bit of a risky moment earlier on in the semi-finals that I'm not used to seeing from her at all.
No, you can't see anything.
So some comments here on the Twitter feed, one from Magdalena saying Mina doing this the hard way, wondering how high she'd have got had she not lost so much energy early on. Speculation there from Magdalena. And then Moika. What a performance and strength from Mina, amazing. My palms were sweating whilst watching. It's a tradition of climbing competitions with the IFSC. If you're at home and your palms aren't sweating, something's wrong. So if you are new to the sport, just to give you some perspective on the athlete that we're currently watching, she's 25 years old, from Gambanggu, Seoul. She's world ranked #1. She ended up the World Cup rankings in first place at the end of last year. She's currently in first place this year. The year before that, 2012 though, all the way back then, she was in second, and that was when she overtook Mina Markovic to be in the form that we've seen her in for the past 2 years. Looking at the results from last year, we're looking at a 4th place at Cran, 1st place at Valence, 2nd at Uyang and Mokpo, 1st place at Pers, and a 3rd place at Imst. Also a 1st place at Briançon last year as well. And obviously from our very first World Cup of this year, a 1st place from Hayang. Let's see how she's going to get on with this one. Nice from Magdalena. When I see Kim Jain climb, I always think of Swan Lake.
She's definitely a very elegant climber. And she has just been cruising that beginning, slowly climbing her way up.
The pressure is another thing that just doesn't seem to really affect her at all. You know, she is well aware of the fact that she's currently world ranked #1 and has been for some time, but it just doesn't seem to mount up on her at all.
No, I think nothing really bugs her down.
I read an interview just recently with her that was saying about the audience back home in Korea, that obviously there's a lot of pressure on her to maintain that world rank #1 status, but her attitude towards it obviously is that she just wants to have fun. She enjoys climbing for what it is, which is interesting because she's never really smiling when she's on the wall. It's so serious for her. But her response to that I thought was fantastic. Of course there's pressure from people back at home to maintain her status, but to have the world rank #1 just saying, I'm just doing this for fun.
She made that look so easy compared to Mina.
So looking good at the moment, up to the 36th hold here, about to make that first tough move. Yeah, no problem here at all. Securing that one, moment to shake out, grab a bit more chalk. For pushing again, that's up to the 39th hold here now then.
Yeah, I think she's definitely gonna win.
Looking good at the moment. Next move to the 40th. She's got a 45 plus to beat. And that belongs to Magdalena Roek. She's currently still on the leader's chair. Moving across here now then, she's up to the 41st hold. About to get into this clock move with these three, this triplet up ahead of her.
Yeah, so
interesting that she went for the second, what is intended to be the second hold there first.
the way Mina did it is the way the route setter said it, but I think it's easier the way she just did it.
That is the victory. That's the 46th hold. That's the hold that we saw earlier on. Magdalena Roek not managing to make. No surprises here as Kim Jain cruises into the gold medal position. She's now up on the 47th and 48th hold. Up again here. Looking very strong at the moment. That's the 50th she's on now. She's 3 moves away from the top. Looking a bit shaky. Can't quite make it. Looked like she actually overshot that move onto the 51st hold. That's going to give her a 50 plus, a full 5 moves ahead of the point that we saw Magdalena Roek struggling with a few moments ago. An incredible performance for Kim Jain, and as you can see, she's just been told she's won. Like there was doubt in her mind for that moment. I don't understand. You know, you're 1 move away from the top there. You gotta know you've done pretty well at that point, surely. Very, very close to a full top out there.
Well, that was a great climb, like always. And she's really happy.
So that is 2 gold medals to start the season here. Could we be about to witness what we've seen before in the bouldering from Anna Storr, the run of golds? We've seen it in the lead from Maya Vidmar as well in the past. Could we be about to see a replication of that here from Kim Jain? 2 goals to start the season. Can she keep it up? We have Briançon coming live to you guys next weekend. What an incredible performance there from Kim Jain. I am now going to, in a few moments, pop off to try and grab both Kim Jain and Sachi Ama, and we'll have a chat about what all that was about. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed from home. The big thing I have to do if I don't see both of you later on is to say a massive thank you to Mathilde Becerra that's been with us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also to Sean, who's here and in the background. You can give us a shout, Sean.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun, Dan.
So thanks to both of you guys for being with us. I am going to pop round now and try and get some interviews for these guys. We'll see you in a few seconds. Do stay tuned. See you in a bit.
Jusqu'au bout. Maintenant, on le sait, il n'y avait pas de feu d'artifice ce soir. Vous êtes définitivement des amoureux de l'escalade. On vous aime pour ça. Vive le public de Chamonix. On fait les podiums dans 5 petites minutes. Le dénouement de cette finale improbable chez les garçons et le podium de cette superbe finale féminine. On va demander à monsieur le maire de nous rejoindre, au président du club des sports de nous rejoindre, à notre adjoint au sport de nous rejoindre, à notre président de la Fédération française montagne escalade, Pierre You. Et on y va dans 5 minutes, juste le temps de tout mettre en place.
Attends.
Allez, dans 3 minutes, on envoie les podiums. 3 petites minutes, histoire de tout mettre en place. Allez, mesdames et messieurs, on va se retrouver avec notre président de la Fédération française montagne et escalade qui va me rejoindre. Pierre You, sur vos applaudissements. Monsieur le maire de Chamonix, Eric Fournier qui va nous rejoindre. We put all the information and the result for the girls. Please go to check. 2 minutes. Monsieur le maire va nous rejoindre aussi. Madame Marie-Noël Fleury, adjointe au sport de la communauté de communes, va nous rejoindre. Le président du club des sports, Luc Verrier, va nous rejoindre sur scène. Applaudissements pour nos élus. Monsieur le maire Éric Fournier qui nous rejoint depuis de nombreuses années maintenant ici sur Chamonix. Alors, je voudrais déjà le mot de monsieur le maire parce que on a un public définitivement, c'était la première fois en 15 ans je crois qu'on faisait une finale de Coupe du Monde sans le feu d'artifice. Définitivement, Chamonix aime l'escalade.
Oui, c'est pas une surprise, mais vraiment un grand merci tout d'abord au public, ensuite aux compétiteurs dans des conditions difficiles, on l'a vu tout à l'heure, mais qui nous ont offert un superbe final, et aux fédérations internationales et françaises d'escalade, et puis au club des sports et aux organisateurs. Très belle soirée, merci encore pour ces très belles finales, et bonne suite, et à l'an prochain pour l'escalade à Chamonix.
Merci monsieur le maire. Il n'a pas dit grand chose hier, il nous avait promis de dire un petit mot ce soir. Notre président de la Fédération française montagne et escalade, s'il vous plaît. Applaudissements pour Pierre You parce qu'il y a de gros projets. Chamonix évidemment c'est un rendez-vous, comme l'a dit Pierre-Henri Paillasson, le trésorier de l'IFSC hier.
Sachi, Amma, you have just earned yourself a gold medal at the very first competition for your year. How are you feeling?
I'm just happy. Today was rainy and bad condition, but really happy with my result.
Talk to me a little bit about the conditions. I know a lot of the guys have been saying that it felt your hands were wet when you were up on the wall. Did you definitely feel that when you were up there?
Yeah. When you see your finger, it's wet. So always I wanted to chalk, but there is no place to chalk. So that is why everyone was shaking, and yeah, it was bad.
So no place to rest for you on this one. So it's a really tough climb for you, and no place to chalk up again as well. Were you stunned at the fact that you were first out and spent the entire time sitting on the leader's chair? Did you expect the other climbers to go higher?
Yeah, I thought some climber goes higher than me, but I was thinking he was not bad. So yeah, wanted to stand on the podium, but scary.
Extra little bit of excitement at the end of it there then. So what's the plan between now and Briançon? Just resting until then, or are you going to head to Briançon straight away and do some climbing?
I go to Grenoble for training. Maybe I go to La Balme, the one rock climbing area, for just on-sighting, and then go to Briançon.
We're looking forward to seeing you there, Sachi. Congratulations, first win of the year.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Alors évidemment, on a encore un petit peu le temps avant de célébrer ces podiums, mesdames et messieurs. Je voudrais passer la parole aussi à notre trésorier de l'IFFC, Pierre-Henri Paillasson, et DTN de l'équipe de France.
Merci, bonsoir tout le monde. Je pense qu'on a encore vu ce soir une très belle finale, notamment chez les filles. Je crois que vous avez vu de la très belle escalade. Jain a été majestueuse, donc c'est encore une chance. Le club des sports de Chamonix, la fédération française, la mairie de Chamonix a réussi à organiser dans des conditions encore très difficiles à cause de l'humidité une magnifique Coupe du Monde. Donc la fédération internationale, encore une fois, remercie tout le monde, vous remercie d'avoir été très nombreux malgré la pluie à regarder ce bel événement. Donc merci à vous, et bien sûr rendez-vous l'année prochaine.
Merci Pierre-Henri. Mesdames et messieurs, il va être temps de célébrer le podium masculin de cette étape de Chamonix-Mont-Blanc. Deuxième étape de Coupe du Monde de la saison et première étape sur le territoire français.
Jain, that was a very impressive final climb. How are you feeling?
I just finished my final, and I'm so happy to get a winner again, but little bit regret about I couldn't get the top qualification, semi-final and final also. Yeah, it was really hard route, this competition, but until the semi-final, my body feel very tired. But in the final, I feel good, and uh, I I I could concentrate for just my climbing, and yeah, I'm so happy and I enjoyed it. Yes.
Thank you, Kim. Is there anything you want to say in Korean to anyone back at home?
지금 한국은 새벽일 텐데 정말 늦은 시간까지 잠 안 자고 응원해줘서 너무 고맙고, 그리고 앞으로 계속 이어질 월드컵도 네, 열심히 최선을 다해서 재밌게 완등하겠습니다. 화이팅!
Thank you, Kim. Congratulations. A second win. Good start to the year.
Thank you.
Silver medal representing Austria. I would like a big applause for Jakob Schubert. Gold medal, and the winner tonight here in Chamonix, representing Japan. Big applause for Sashi Hama. Allez, applaudissements messieurs dames pour les trois vainqueurs, Domen Skofik, Jakob Schubert et Sashi Hama, vainqueurs de l'étape de Coupe du Monde de Chamonix. And please, everybody, welcome the national anthem. Applaudissements mesdames et messieurs, Sachi Hama encore une fois après 2 ans et sa première victoire ici à Chamonix remporte l'épreuve de Coupe du Monde de Chamonix. Deuxième Jakob Schubert, troisième Domen Skofik. Big applause, congratulations guys, thank you very much. You can come with us and stay with us there. And good luck for next week in Briançon. Good job. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the medalist for the women podium tonight. Bronze medal tonight representing Slovenia. I would like a big applause for Mina Markovic. Silver medal tonight representing Austria. I would like a big applause for Magdalena Rocca. tonight here in Chamonix, representing Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Kim Jain. Allez, mesdames et messieurs, innovation, Kim Jain, vainqueur de cette étape. Magdalena Rock, l'Autrichienne. Et évidemment, Mina Markovic, la Slovène. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the national anthem. Applaudissements pour ce superbe podium féminin. Girls, stay on the podium. Don't move, girls, don't move. On va faire revenir les garçons. Guys can come in back now. And we like to finish with the temptation podium, like girls and boys on the same podium. And everybody become crazy. Make some noise, Chamonix. Domen Skofik, Mina Markovic, two climbers from Slovenia. Just perfect, Magdalena Rock and Jakob Schubert from Austria, and Mr. Sashi Alma and Kim Jain, Korea and Japan together for the first position. Merci beaucoup public, franchement Chamonix on vous aime, merci d'être restés aussi nombreux, passez une très bonne soirée, passez une bonne vacances, le soleil va revenir lundi. On a trouvé une paire de clés juste devant la tente du club des sports de Chamonix. Une paire de clés, à mon avis, we found a key car, perhaps an Italian key car. Look in your pocket if you lost your key, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us. Apologies for relatively brief interviews a few moments ago. Obviously, we've got thousands and thousands of people waiting in front of the wall here to see the athletes on the podium. So we were a tad rushed on that one, getting us out. But just to reaffirm the results that we have here before we close for the evening, these are the results of the World Cup in Chamonix 2014, our second of the lead season. Sajiyama in first place with a height of 28+, Jakob Schubert in second with 24+, and Domen Škofic in third with 23+. Thomas Ballet 19+ in fourth, Ramon de Grange in fifth with 16+, Ramon Julian Pugh-Blanc sixth with 16+, Magnus Bippo seventh with another 16+, and eighth Urban Primojic. Over onto the women's finals then. Kim Jain, as we've just seen on the podium, 50+ there, gave her the first place position. Magdalena Rock with her second place position of 2014, 45+. Mina Markovic in third with a 44+. Anak Verhoeven in fourth with a 40. Dinara Fakutanova fifth with a 36+. Akio Noguchi, same score but sixth. Charlotte Durif, same score but seventh, and then Risa Ota in eighth with a 31+. Those are your finalists, the top 16 athletes, 8 men, 8 women that have been our pleasure to watch this evening on the wall. Thank you very much for being with us. I've been Daniel Finn, and I look forward to seeing you all next weekend at Briançon. Good night.